Oh, we're back. We're gonna see how this goes. I apologize, but I've been a bit under the weather since like forever. So if it's a little bit, if we're a little bit behind mentally today, please don't get angry at me. What's up, Anya? Hey, yeah, Anya, you're on time for once. Very cool. Who all's here? Type 1 if you're in the chat. Hopefully I got enough voice left to do this stream here tonight. What's up, Fatality? Hey, Aiden. Nice to see you, bud. So we're live. We're back again. And I do this every week. I try to remember what we did last week. We did pretzel stuff last week, right? Didn't we do more pretzel web homepage stuff? I think that's what we did. Right on, Exotic. There, I got it right. Neil. PQL's got a big 6. What's up, Neil? Man, thanks for tuning in, guys. We got kind of... So last week, actually the past couple weeks, things have been good, Aiden. Thank you for asking, dude. Outside of this stupid cold, man. Been fighting this thing forever. It won't go away. I've already gone through, like, a bunch of prescription stuff, and then I think it was on its way out, and then I overdid it last weekend, and it is back, and it is back with a vengeance. So I have the die hard cold. I think I have. But anyways, last week I kept talking about we're gonna do like t-shirt graphics, and I got to thinking about it, and I was thinking like maybe we should like split it up. So because t-shirt graphics, there's a lot of different like elements that go into them. There's like the graphic art type stuff where it's the drawing stuff. Mascots and logos and things like that can be turned into t-shirt graphics. But the big thing in mind is that it's usually like, single color stuff because it's usually screen printed. So by screen printing, I mean, this is a bad example of this pocket. I didn't even wear a screen printed shirt. I probably should have. But it's usually like, big swatches of color gets put down. Oh, thanks, Exotic. Yeah, he's a goofball, that dog. And so I figured we'd probably jump into playing with some type effects first, because if you guys ever come across, say you're designing something, and when you design for screen is very different when trying to switch over and design for print, especially like screen print. A lot of stuff doesn't transfer over, so I figured I'd kind of maybe show you guys some stuff in regards to type effects that you can do to get like t-shirt graphic stuff, for like halftones and fills and things like that. And so plus it's kind of double-sided. There's a kind of a word mark I want to do anyway, so I figured we'd kind of merge it all together, but show you some tricks there. So thought we'd do that. Have any of you guys ever created halftones in Illustrator? I'm curious. There's like halftones have been one of those kind of mysterious things where there hasn't really, at least without plugins, there hasn't really been a straightforward, like, real good way to do it. At least not that I found. And it's kind of like there's kind of like a trick process to do in Illustrator if you're trying to do halftones. So I wanted to show you guys that. And maybe it was one of those things that kind of always boggled my mind when I was working on it. Like, why does it do it this way? But over time, it started to sink in, like, how it works and whatnot. Yeah, halftone, just find halftone fonts right on. Yeah, well, halftones are a great way to do fills if you need to only use, like, say 2 colors, right? So say, let me switch screens. I had this, let me move chat over. So this was the promo graphic for today, and this is a couple big halftones, right? One's smaller. Halftones, if you don't know what halftone is the little dot pattern in there, and it's going from, you'll notice that we're able to halftone the shadow out from the background of the letters into the back, the paper background, right? So this kind of cream color, so we have the dark kind of midnight blue violet that's halftoned back into the lighter color. And the cool thing about this is that you get that, even though we use big old dots, you get a gradient effect, but it's still only 2 colors. So when you're printing that on a screen, it's just, they just have to make the inks for the cream color, and then in this case the purple color, right? And everything here is halftoned together, so there's not, it's all solid colors. So all together we have the cream, the pink, the kind of dark blue and white. Those are the only colors used here, right? Except for the Adobe logo. That's a red. I can't change the brand color. Exactly. What's your dot gain? I have no idea. Shirts. In Illustrator, this one was I think the smaller one was an 8, and the larger one was like a 12 or 14 or something. See, that's another tricky thing because we're going to be using halftones as more of like an effect rather than a way to, what's the word? You know what I'm talking about, eShirt Labs, where you use halftones if you're trying to get a good gradient, right? We're going to use it more as like an effect. So we're purposely going to be making halftones for people to see them, rather than doing, rather than using it as a way to transition color, and try to make like, like the more photography type stuff, like if you're trying to print something that has to blend together real well. We're not trying to get that type of stuff. We're trying to use halftones as an effect. And so we'll probably be playing around with like the bigger dot sizes and whatnot. An effect and not a separation technique. Yeah, slow burn. So, but knowing this process will help you on the other stuff too. So if you need to, like eShirt Lab was, playing with dot gain, you can do some really smooth gradients and set them up in Illustrator if you're trying to get a grain effect and only using like, the two, like two colors and whatnot. And I'll be honest, I haven't done, outside of big effects and doing like simple color to color gradients, I haven't done anything like major ripping or anything. That's Ask eShirts Lab. He probably knows all that stuff. There's the other big trick to using where halftones, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that called, isn't dithering? Is dithering only for the screen, or is dithering a term used in print too? My mind is not working today. But like when you're having to like do, you're trying to make a photograph out of like 11 screen colors or something, right? So there's different situations where your dot size will change depending on how precise you're trying to get on color. So I probably like totally butchered that description, but I wanted to show you guys how to use that as an effect and how to use, we're gonna make some fills, some patterns, and play around with some outlines. I'm gonna show you how to make this on the screen. So not really DTG for me. Direct to garment. Oh, direct to garment. Yeah, direct to garment's different. It's not screen printed. So what happens there is the process is you print on a sheet, and I forget what type of transfer it is, but what the exact paper is, but it's like a there's multiple direct to garment, right? So there's dye sublimation, where it's where you dye the garment with like, you can do it with like look like giant, some cases look like giant inkjet printers, and they actually like print into the cloth. And then other times direct to garment can mean like heat transfer type stuff, where that's where you print on a sheet and then the whole thing just kind of gets melted into the shirt. And then there's screen printing. The screen printing is where it's the ink is pushed through a screen, and the pattern's on the screen, and it whatever that pattern is, ink goes through it and lays on the shirt. So the and each has their pros and cons. The thing I like most about screen printing is that you can get probably the most vibrant colors out of it. Direct to garment, sometimes the vibrancy just isn't as nice as screen printing. Like this hot pink you'd have a hard time getting that on a black shirt, right? On a dark t-shirt, because there's no unless it's like a heat transfer. But if you think about the ink going into like think about like when you use watercolor on a paper, right? Like the watercolor doesn't stay super vibrant like you see it in the the little tray, right? Once it hits that paper, it kind of starts to it starts to bleed and soak into the paper, and you lose some of that vibrancy. eShirts is right. Screen print does last a lot longer too. So it's a print type that you can get wash after wash after wash out of it, and it will usually stick. Though I have come across some stuff that fades. Who knows? But so I figured we jump into this. I don't know if you guys got Illustrator fired up. If you want to follow along, yeah, the halftone part in itself. If you've never tried it and have been and would like to figure out how to get this effect, now's a good time to fire it up and jump into it, because it's kind of like it's a at least the process I know is very much a step process, and I'm always forgetting it. And it's one of those things where you just, I don't know, you have to try to make it a habit, I guess, which I haven't quite been able to do that yet because I switch gears too often. But I'm gonna go ahead and save this out. What I got is a document that's just, or a new canvas, which is just 1280 pixels by 1280 pixel square. Resolution doesn't matter. Well, I'm not gonna get into that. We're just gonna run it your default what it loads up as. So I'm gonna save this out real quick just so I can make sure I don't, whatever we work on, we don't lose it. So I'm notorious for that. So I saved it out on a different screen. There's the prompt. So we're gonna play around with some halftones with type. Having desk thumps. Yeah, you mean my mashing my keyboard? Oh, slow burn. You do textile stuff. We gotta get in touch, man. I'm kind of an addict for patterns, and I love like the pattern type stuff. You can even ask Aiden about that. I got a website dedicated to just patterns. Let's see, but usually diffusion or dithering in index mode on. So what is the term E-shirt slab in slow burn? What is the term when you're trying to, when say you need to print something that's almost photographic in screen printing? Is there a term for, how, like process screen printing? Isn't there like a term for that type of, the how you set up the screens and the dots and all that stuff? Do you know any autosave plugins for Illustrator? My version of CS6 crashes semi-regularly and there's no recovered file like Photoshop. Oh, that's a bummer, dude. Man, I don't think there's an autosave. Like Travis's ongoing joke is like the autosave is just like close Illustrator and it'll ask you to save before you close it. But that's only if it's a new document. Yeah, well, no, that'll work. So yeah, you just close Illustrator before it crashes. No, I don't know, Exotic. I'll have to. That's a good question. You gotta ask me on the Twitter so I remember. Oh, by the way, so all these streams, I say this every time. I like to. I always want to call you Muddy. Mud Sinker. I'm gonna call you Mud Sinker. Is that cool? Am I close? Tell me I'm at least close. Oh man, yeah, Den pattern. So if you guys are working on anything or following along, or like if you come across some, especially if you come across some text effects that you want to see or how it's done or whatever, send it to me on Twitter. Maybe we can figure it out. And sorry, I'm just catching up with Twitter right now. There's a lot of stuff that just hit. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat. I always do. The best way to send stuff: Mudsincar. Okay, I got it. So the Twitter link is twitter.com/ just Evan Eckert, of course, and it's in the chat. Sorry for like smashing the keyboard, but you know what? I'm gonna open up that other document actually because I really liked the swatches I had picked out. So I'm gonna open this up and we're just gonna move this off screen. This was just so you guys can see. All of this is one big vector monster for the most part. So these all grouped and we're just going to move them off the screen and we're going to kind of remake it. And the fonts I've been using, I love Futura. So this is Futura. I think it might be heavy. It's either bold or heavy capped. And then this Illustrator one is it's a font I came across called like what is it called? It's SU. I think I found it on Creative Market. It's SUARGIE. I don't know, Swargy. But those are the fonts I was playing with in this one. And it's a great like brush script type font. So yeah. So if you guys want to figure this stuff out, want to follow along, please do. Please fire up Illustrator. I'm using CC, of course, and we're just gonna play around with it and see what happens. If you guys come up with any like text ideas or text effects that you want to show me, send it on Twitter. If you have questions on, maybe you've come across an effect and you're stuck, send me a snapshot real quick. Maybe we can figure it out. Aiden, I'm still reading it, dude. Swarge? I don't know. Aiden. Mudson Char. Man, I'm trying, dude. I'm really trying. So let's break out Futura. I was playing with there was a buddy of mine, his brother has a channel, and he was looking for a logo for him. I doubt this is gonna be the logo I send him, but I'm gonna use his name for now because I thought it was pretty funny. It's Pony Montana, like Tony Montana from I can't even think, Scarface. So, but Pony Montana, I don't know, I got a kick out of it. So we're gonna play with his name just for now, just to run these effects, and I'll type this out. So I was using Futura. Futura is an old school, it's not too old. I think it was maybe 50s. I think, I don't remember when it came out. The funny little fact that I like about it though is it was always Stanley Kubrick's favorite font. So if you watch any Stanley Kubrick movie, in the titles he uses Futura, and it's usually a bold that he's always using, or that he used to use. So was I using bold? I wasn't using condensed, that's for sure. But you guys can play with whatever. Another thing I want to show you guys before we jump into Halftones is I wanted to run you guys through the effects panel. I don't know if you've come across this, but when just playing with type, one place that I'll usually start is just the under the effects panel, and we'll jump into that. So I'm gonna go ahead and got some type out, and I like capping it, so I'm just gonna do all caps, and there we go, Pony, and we'll size that down. And I'll make a copy, Control C, Control F to paste in front. And this will be Montana, Pony Montana. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn these to outlines, and then we'll play around with kerning and whatnot. The shining isn't Futura. I think it, well, it might be actually. Let's look that up real quick. Let's look at, well, the shining title. I know Eyes Wide Shut is he used Futura there. You know what, you might be right. The Shining might be one of the only ones that doesn't have Futura. A majority of his have Futura. So if I look up, like, I remember Eyes Wide Shut is the one that stands out the most. I'm looking that up real quick. So, you know, that's Futura, Eyes Wide Shut. So, and filmed by Stanley Kubrick. That was his favorite font. It's a pretty rock solid font. It's got, you know, it has a lot of personality, but you can use it in a lot of different placements, and it works pretty well. There's the poster artwork. So yeah, Kubrick always used Futura. Not always, but a majority of. I better not scroll too far, because if there's scenes from Eyes Wide Shut, that quickly will turn us into a PG-13 channel. Lewis, we're gonna look at type stuff. So type effects. So I've got this text laid out, right, and it's just typed on here. And what I want to do real quick is I want to go ahead and turn it to outlines, and the quick shortcut for that is Control-Shift-O. But if you can't remember that, go under type. And it's right here, create outlines, and what that's going to do is change all of your characters into vector objects or vector shapes. So if I hit that, you'll see that the type information's gone, and we're left with just the shapes of each letter. Conflating a Scarface reference with the pop diva. So one thing I want to do real quick here is some of these letters, I don't know, it could be my eyes, but I want to just kind of adjust some spacing a little bit. If you've watched any of Aaron Draplin's, what do you call it? Specifically Skillshare classes, he talks about this a lot. How don't settle for default. Get in there and actually like look at each letter and move stuff around until it feels nice. And because default can sometimes get you, a lot of times can get you in trouble. So jump in there and start playing with you know, your letter spacing and whatnot, and don't settle for the default stuff. So I'm going to start to align these objects to the center of the canvas. So I'm going to go to align. I'm going to make sure that my align is set to artboard. If you've tuned in before, you know I love this whole panel, and I've always got artboard on. If you don't see it, make sure you click the big old hamburger menu, and you should see an option for show options. You should see it. Yeah, never mind. Whatever. So click that, and then you'll get this little image down here, this little icon, where you can align to artboard. So now if I just select both, I can click the you know, align horizontally on the center point, and we do that. The other big reason why I went ahead and changed this text to shapes is that sometimes you can get, like, even though if you want to align it to center, I'm trying to think of a good situation this might be, but you know, sometimes you'll get text where like this, like Futura still works, because see how the bounding box is right on each side of the T? This would still center up pretty good, but there is some typefaces, like, let me just pick something. Actually, that was one that, where did we scroll over? I just saw it. Okay, like that. Okay, so look at whatever this type is, FZ basic. See how if we center it, you know, there's still some letter spacing on the right side of this T. So even though technically the text is centered, you know, you could run into situations where the you know, it's not perfectly centered. So even in situations where you center the paragraph text, see, we even did that. So I have paragraph text centered, and we're still getting this extra letter spacing on the right, because it's probably built into the font, right? So the minute you turn this into outlines, right, you get rid of that. The only drawback is you can't edit it anymore. So, but if you know if you got your font ready and you got it down and ready to go, yeah, you should be good to go ahead and outline it. And actually, now I'm thinking about this, I want to do the heavier version of this. So let's go ahead and type this back out. Pony Montana. So what, Swami, what pop reference is this to? I'm confused. I don't remember. Is there a pony? The only pony I remember is Pony Boy from what is that? The Outsiders. I think I use extra bold or heavy. No, I use extra bold. So the bold, extra bold. That's what it was. All right. So now if I make this in outlines, and I need to ungroup this though. We'll bring this. Never settle for default. Remember that. So I'll keep that as a group, and then see how this M is so far away from the O compared to the other letters. Go like this, and we will group that. So Control G, and then I've got it centered up. All right, so we got Pony Montana. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to group both for now because I want to show you these effects. So if you go to View, or sorry, not View, you go to Effect, and under the Warp palette, you got a bunch of stuff in here that comes in super handy with type. So your warp options, yeah, My Little Pony, and Pony Boy from Outsiders is all I know of. Made them think of Hannah Montana. Man, nah, I'm old, dude. Yeah, forget that. Frag Entity, it's going good. Whenever I see you create a logo, they always seem unprofessional. Or wait, whenever I seem to create a logo, I thought you said whenever I see you create a logo, call me unprofessional. It just takes time. Frag, I do the same thing. I'm never happy with anything I do, to be honest. Like, there's always room for improvement in my book. When I'm looking at my own stuff, you know, you know, there's very rarely I've done something where I thought it actually looked pretty polished. You know, it's there's always something, even if it looks polished at one point in time. You know, you go back to it a month later and be like, man, I would have done that differently. Would have done that differently. You know, it's just part of being in the design industry. So don't worry. Just keep, you know, working on fine tuning and refining everything you do. And you know, probably if you ever come across anything that you've done that you were like, yeah, it's 100% polished, and you come back a month later and you still feel out the same way, you're probably what's a good way to put it? Probably need to like get back in, you know, challenge yourself a little more, because you know, I don't know, I haven't come across any other designer that feels like it's, you know, their work is dead on all the time or anything. So it's just kind of the nature of the beast. Sparkling water, it's the best. Yeah, there's very few. Sometimes I'll go back and you know, I'll look at stuff and I'll look at stuff and be like, man, that one turned out pretty good. You know, I see stuff that I can refine there, and then it'll be a struggle to try to get something close like one that I thought was successful. You know what I mean? So it's a constant just battle, just, you know, a lot of trial and error and stuff. So after you turn them into outlines, what does expanding do? I'm actually gonna master plan. I'm gonna show you what expanding does here in a sec. Actually, expanding does a lot of things, and we're going to use it in I'll show you a reason to use it here in a minute. Excuse me. Yep. So okay, so we'll keep going to amateur and professional logos. Yeah, Swami's got a lot of research. He brings up a good point. You know, always be learning, always be referencing stuff, or not referencing, but researching. You know, keep an eye out on what is in style and happening. And I have a lot of just books on logos and just T-shirt designs and sticker designs, and just to see, you know, how designers solve creative problems, because you're going to run into a lot of stuff where you know, nothing's going to spark the mind right away, you know, and sometimes you got to go out and see, you know, maybe it's been solved before or something, and kind of, you know, you can gather ideas that way. So without rambling on though, let's show you this stuff. So I use Arc a lot. Arc is one of the first ones on here, and you'll see I've got preview clicked on so you can see what happens here. It bends the you can use it to bend your text. And the Arc is also good for well, Arc can also be done if you're typing on a path, but I wanted to show you the warp options. And this works on any shape you put in through Illustrator. You can use this warp panel anywhere. So if you want a slight arc to your type, and just play with, you know, just get a that effect going. Now if you go overboard, you'll notice that the type is starting to kind of fall apart. So these are good if you're using, like, if you want to get some subtle subtle effects to fonts or whatnot, and you know, give it a little more action, a little more character. And also all of these options have, you can either use the main bend on horizontal and vertical axis. So if I click over to vertical, you'll see it, you know, it's now running vertically, or rather vertically through the shape rather than horizontally. I very rarely play with vertically when it comes to text. I'm usually always on horizontal. The distortion, now this comes in pretty handy. You can see, you know, you can distort some text pretty cool. You know, and go essentially run it left to right, and then also vertical. Vertical I use a lot as well. So sometimes I'll use the warp option and not even use the bend. I'll just get in to use the vertical and to do something like, you know, fake a little bit of a 3D, you know, view. So say if I okay that, you know, it looks like it's kind of running backwards a little bit. So that comes in handy. Now, say you've set an effect and you want to change it, right? You can't go right back up to the effects panel. Watch what happens if you do this. If you go back to the effects panel, it should ask me if I want to set a new instance, which I don't, right? So if you go back through the effects panel, you'll be applying another effect on top of the one you just did. If you don't want to do that, cancel out of there and come over here to your appearance tab. And you'll see for this element, we've got a couple appearance items on here. The one that is viewable is warp arc, right? So if I just simply click that, it brings back that setting we just applied, and then from there we can change the settings or do something different, you know, whatever we want to do. So that's a good little thing. Like I would constantly run into that, just forgetting that, you know, I don't want to make a new setting. I need to I need to just edit the one I got. So all right, so we have arc. You know, let's set all this back to 0 so you can see some of the other ones. Sometimes I'll use arc lower, because if you notice the shape of arc lower, it's kind of like a bowl shape, right? Well, sometimes I'll use this the other direction. So if you do a negative bend, you'll get kind of a nice arc shape, but the top of your text will stay flat, right? So you get a good shape there. This comes in super handy when you're doing type that needs to sit on top of a mascot, right? So keep that in mind, using arc lower and running it into a negative bend will give you that. You know, you can start to see, you know, a sports theme, you know, or a sports team shape here, right? And so that's one way to get like text that you would use on a mascot logo or something. So arc lower is a good one. There's a bunch of other ones that, I'll be honest, I don't really play around with them all that much because, at least not when it comes to type. I do when it comes to like you know, playing with other shapes or whatnot. There's arc upper, which is the opposite of what we're doing here. Like, you know, you can get some good effects there too. When working in stuff where you're using like word marks and you're making like team logos or stuff like that, honestly, you're pretty much just gonna stick to these top few. You know, there's not really, I haven't come across a reason to use any of these other warp effects for text, and not, you know, unless it's something really stylized. But you can, you know, you should play around with this stuff, and see, you know, what all shapes are in here. But there's a lot of good stuff under this warp panel. I take that back. I've used flag a couple times. So flag gives you that wavy sense, but it still retains the shape of the letters. You know, it doesn't distort them or blow them out, make it unreadable. So going back to the expand comment, and let me think, who was that? Frag, were you asking? Who was asking the expand comment? I've already forgotten. Let me go back and look. Master plan was okay. So master plan. So say you're done with this and you need to you're done applying, you know, the arc or whatnot to it, and you're ready to just make this its own shape. So the minute I go up to object and I go expand or expand appearance, you'll see that effect, you know, that appearance is now gone over here on the palette. I can't, or on the tab, I can't edit that effect or anything. You can kind of think of expand like if you use Photoshop a lot and you say, you know, you put down type and you rasterize the type. I mean, kind of similar thought process, right? Or you put in a vector smart object and you rasterize it. You've just kind of it's not identical, but think of it kind of the same. Where if in Illustrator, that's expanding, right? So that's taking a lot of stuff that was editable and turning it into shapes. That is now, you know, it's mainly just shapes rather than, say you're using fills that are patterns, you're using special, you know, strokes that have, you know, different widths or whatnot. Expanding it changes all that into just big shapes. And that's very important when you're sending artwork off to printers and stuff, because sometimes, and even people that are using Illustrator or other vector type software, if their preferences are off a little bit and say they open up your artwork and you didn't expand everything, or you didn't create outlines with your type or whatnot, if they don't have those fonts loaded, it's not going to load right. If they have, you know, there's some subtle preferences under here where it's like, where to go? I think it's still under here. Preferences, general. There's one where scale, strokes, and effects. If someone has that turned on, you know, and say I have it turned off here, and I didn't make all my strokes outlined. You know, I didn't expand them. I could really mess it up. You know, it could take, say, line art. Maybe you've got all your strokes set to 3-point, and it's 3-point. It looks good for the size you have it at, but then they take it and they don't have this turned on and they scale it way up. You know, 3-point just really got really skinny, right? So expanding is a way to just kind of like finalize all that. So once you expand it, you know, anybody should be able to grab it in a vector program and just blow it up or tear it apart, and it should, you know, tear it apart to get it ready for printing or whatnot, and it should, all your widths and colors and everything should be, you know, you shouldn't see a shift in them. So that's expanding, and we're going to use expand a little bit more in making these halftones. So we've got our text here, and the first thing we need to do is we need to offset this. So we're going to go to Object, Path, and go to Offset Path. And I like to toggle on Preview just to see what I'm doing. And I think I had the offset set to it was like 16 or 20. It was pretty big. Let's do 16 for now. So I'm going to OK that, and this is probably still all grouped together. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and ungroup it, just so we can get to each individual letter and get it fixed up. And we want to make a lot of copies as we're going. I'll be honest with you, even this shape right here looks pretty cool to me. I don't know. I mean, you can't read it, but it looks cool. So I'm going to grab the new expanded shapes we did. I'm going to select all of them in the background here. And let's change some colors on it so we can see what we're doing. So I have this kind of dark purpley color, and then I'm going to grab all of our letters here and bring those to the front. Object, arrange, bring to front, and let's go ahead and change that color so we can see what we're doing here. All right, so we have our expanded type here, and you know, I'm thinking let's go ahead and merge this, and then I'm going to round the corners a little bit. I think these thicker edges might be a little tricky. So I'm going to go to the Pathfinder palette or tab, and we're going to hit Unite, and that's going to make this thing one big shape. And now that we have it selected, I'm going to use the filled direct select tool, you know, the filled arrow, and let's just bump corners up once and just kind of soften it and see what happens. It's mainly these ends that I want to, I'm holding shift and just selecting some of the corners I want to maybe round a bit more. And that's, it'll do for now. So for this effect, let's see, we've got, you know, we might need to do some cleanup. Let's grab the pen tool and then press minus on your keyboard, and it'll bring up the subtract points. And we have a lot of extra points here, you know, at the top of some of these letters. So let's just get rid of, you know, see if there's any points. Like, see the bottom of the T and this A. So this is also a good habit to get into, is just kind of cleaning up points you don't need. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll figure out this text effect, or do halftone. So I'm going to make a copy of this. Control C, right, to copy, and then Control F to paste in front. Now, the trick to doing halftones is that, at least the method I know in Illustrator is it's creating a raster effect, and then we're going to essentially trace it into a vector file. Two-letter logo for letters with curvy lines like JC. You could do a monogram or something. There might be, you know, there's a couple. You could lock that up, I bet. You could use the vertical bar of the J and run the C into it and see what it looks like. That might be kind of cool. You know, it could kind of fold into one, like the bottom of the J. You could do the bottom of the J comes up to the top of the C, you know, and then the top of the J runs into the bottom of C. I don't know. You try something like that. Okay, so halftones. Let's make this a pink, like we had before. A pink halftone going into this this purpley color. All right, so you want to click on your gradient tab, and let's give this thing a gradient. And we're going to use the gradient should be white to black. Right now, keep this in mind when you're thinking about halftones. The dots we're going to end up with is going to be the the black ink side. All right, think of the white ink side is going to end up transparent. Okay, so that's going to be your empty shapes for this method. So keep that in mind. The black ink becomes your color, right? White ink is going to be transparent. Think of it kind of like an alpha mask. Okay. Okay, what was the command that created the purple bigger letters again? That was offset path. Craig, yeah, I'm on at 4 now. We're a couple hours earlier. Oh wait, Original E. I'm studying 12 hours a day for the next year in Adobe programs. Any tips? You're lucky if you're able to sink 12 hours a day into it. Actually, I do too, but it's working. It's doing work stuff. Okay, so once you have a gradient on here, it has to be white to black, or black to white. And think of the black ink is going to end up being your color. And yeah, Craig, I'm still sick. I'm still fighting it. And the white ink is going to be transparent. Okay, so we're gonna let's do the pink into the violet color, right? So I'm gonna drag. I think I need to drag from the bottom. I'm holding Shift with the gradient tool. No, I messed that up. Okay, you're dragging your left color is where your start point, right? So let's drag downward. Okay. All right. So we've created this gradient, and we're applying it to text. If you're just wanting to practice, you can do this just to do it just to a square or something. You can practice. All right. So we have this set. We need to go to if I can remember, Effect, Pixelate, Color Halftone. All right, if you want to write that down, I've written it down. Effect, Pixelate, Color Halftone. All right, your Color Halftone, you'll probably see a default something or other like this, and you're gonna see a bunch of numbers. If eShirts Lab is still in here, he can help clear this up because I don't quite remember how it works. But Color Halftone it's CMYK, right? Or is it RGB? Might be RGB. I don't remember. Regardless, the different numbers of the angles of where the dot's gonna land. To get a halftone where we're gonna go from one solid color to another, we need all the dots to be right on top of each other. All right. So let's handle that part first. So one number to keep in mind is the number 45. 45 is a good number, a good angle to use for this. So all your channels should be at a 45-degree angle. I know this is this part I still don't quite understand, but this works. Crypt, yeah, I'm still sick. Yep. Based on CMYK, says Macker. Okay, so the degree of rotation of the gradient based on channels of C, M, Y, and K. So think of it like now I'm trying to remember this. When the angle of the halftone comes down on top of each other, the overlap of the ink is what makes different colors. So the angle of the yellow on top of the angle of the red, your overlap becomes the orange. Am I right? Mac, eShirts, am I explaining this somewhat correctly? Then the blue comes down on the yellow. If it's at a different angle, you're gonna get an overlap there, and that's gonna be your other color, right? And depending on where your angles are at and all that stuff, on the different screens is how you take CMYK and try to print a color image. I got it. Max says I'm close. Okay, so if you think about it that way, you're thinking about all these dots coming down, right? All these different CMYK dots. We just want two solid, one solid color fading off, right? So we need to stack all those color dots on top of each other. I hope I'm making some sense. Now your max radius is that dot size, right? It should be. We're going to treat it like the dot size. So an 8 is what I did before. Let's use like a 12. Okay. So let's hit OK and you'll watch this thing happen. All right, so we made a halftone, but it's raster based. It's not vector. It gets kind of sketchy, but we're going to get kind of close when it comes to making this a vector thing. So this is another case where we're going to use the expand. Okay, so we've set this as a raster fill, so it's pixel based. It's not vector. So we need to go to, if I remember this correctly, we need to go to object and we need to expand this. All right, so this starts to make it into a shape that Illustrator can work with. And if you notice, right when I expanded this, if all the angles are matched, it's just one color. Exactly. Okay, so yeah, what Mac just wrote, that's what I was trying to describe. It's just not happening. I just turned rulers on real quick in case you saw a flicker. So if you notice, once I expanded this, there's a whole toolbar that just showed up for trace image. Okay, we're gonna trace these dots essentially. So under image trace, you should see this whole kind of toolbar, area pop up. And I'm not gonna worry about this for now. But if you go to image trace, the one we want to pick is black and white logo. All right, so we're gonna pick black and white logo, and Illustrator's gonna think about it, and it's gonna trace all these dots, these little color dots, and it's starting to. Now we've got, you can see we've got vector black and vector white, right? So, but it's not super fine tuned. So there should be a little panel icon you'll see, and if you click that, we'll get this image trace panel, and go ahead and click the arrow that says advanced, and you'll start to get these options. Let me make sure that the overlay on the channel isn't covering this. I want to make sure you guys can see this stuff. Let's see, it's still catching up. It looks like, okay, yeah, you guys can see it. So 128 is this stuff you don't really need to mess with it for the time being. Threshold, you can leave it at 128. Now advanced paths, I like to set it to like 99, and I'll tab out of there, and it'll think about it every time you make a step, because it's a lot of, like, there's a lot of paths that's going to happen here. I also have preview toggled on at the bottom, so as you're making adjustments, you can see them on the fly, which is nice. For corners, I also knocked that one up to 99%. So it'll think about it again. You'll start to see this get clearer and clearer a little bit. All right. Noise, you can kind of play around with it to whatever threshold you want. I like turning it all the way down. So I'm going to press, right when I type a 1, you'll notice that the halftone should now go to the top of the letters, right? So if I press a 1 and tab out, it's going to think, and you'll see the halftone get taller. You should see it. Okay, see how it now cleared the top of pony? You can start seeing black dots there. You may not be able to see it on, depending on what the how the stream's coming through, but hopefully you can see it. All right, and then very important, click on ignore white. All right, remember white being transparent? That's what we're going to do here. Okay, now you can't see the effect because I have a copy of the shape behind it. Let me click off of this, and let me drill down into that shape so you can see. All right, now you can see we have our halftone back there. All right. Again, this is one way to do it. You see at the bottom of the palette it says paths. I have 8,277 paths in these little halftone dots, and there's 50,000 anchor points in here. So yeah, that's why Illustrator's got to stop and think, because there is a lot of vector information going on in here. So now I'm gonna go back to object, and we're gonna expand this. Wait, I'm missing a step. No, sorry. We just want to click the expand button. That's what we want. So expand that, and now you notice that we have a whole bunch of blue dots, right? Because it's the outline. Now you can simply just pick your swatch color, and we have this halftone. So now if I use this background and let's pull it back into place, you'll see we have this pink halftone effect happening behind our letters, and it looks pretty cool. So yeah, so depending on how you drag that first initial gradient around, that's where your halftone is going to go. We dragged it all the way from the bottom to the top, and so we're getting a pretty thick percentage of the pink down at the bottom, and then it 100% fades off by the time you get to the top of the letters. If you do a much narrower band, you're going to get just a narrower halftone effect. So keep that in mind, that when you drag out that initial gradient, that's where your halftone's gonna start to hit. So the longer the gradient, you're gonna get that many more dots in the middle, depending on if you use these same settings, you will. Okay, cool. So we got our halftone effect going, and for this one, I also wanted to do kind of we had a 3D effect, right? A really basic 3D effect. And you'll notice with the paper, the type being the paper color, we've only used 2 colors to get this effect, right? So I'm gonna make a copy. Well, I'm not gonna make a copy. I'm gonna go to Object, and let's go to Path, and let's do Offset Path again. We're gonna give this a big old fat border, and let's click on Preview so we can see it. And that's a pretty major border. Let's go to like 11, something like that for now. And I'm gonna hit OK. Now we got a lot of like crazy shapes going on in here. That type of stuff you can clean up, beforehand. We just kind of let it run. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a pretty kind of basic 3D look, and then we're gonna halftone that out. So we just did Offset Path. I'm gonna do Control C and Control F, and we've made a. Is that my dog barking? Okay, maybe I'm hearing stuff. And I'm just gonna size it down a little bit, kind of drag it down here, and now we'll get like that 3D, kind of stylized, real basic 3D type effect. So what we want to do here is select both of these out. Is that my dog? I might have to run out for a second. All right, so you guys probably think I'm nuts, but yeah, I can hear a faint barking. We're gonna go to Object, and we're gonna go to Blend, and this is where you can blend. Oh no, it's neighbor kids. That's what I'm hearing. You can blend one shape into another shape. We're just gonna simply do steps, right? So let's click on Blend Options, and you can see this. So under Blend Options, we want to blend this bigger outline into the smaller outline. And if you've tuned in before, you've probably seen me do this. I love doing it. You can get some really cool effects out of this just by itself. And we're gonna pick specified steps, and I'm gonna bump this up to like 200. All right, so 200. Let's go to Object, Blend, Make. All right, cool. So it made this this shape, right? And you'll notice though that it's not. Again, we're gonna have to expand this out because Illustrator is helping us, and it's allowing us to be able to manipulate this without losing our blend. So say this bottom one, I wanted it to actually be smaller. Well, if I double click it because it's a group, and I just simply size it down and say I want to pull it down some more, you'll notice that the blend is still there, which is pretty cool. So let's go maybe a little more aggressive. Let's size this down even more, kind of like that. So now it's like kind of old school film, looking like it's coming out of the background or something. And remember that we're gonna halftone this back like we did on the preview here. So if you missed the preview, we're gonna do something like that. So let's jump back into here, and we want to go to Object, and let's go to Blend, and we want to expand that blend, right? So let's expand that out, and you'll see a whole bunch of copies essentially. Open up your Pathfinder and click Unite, and now this should be, it's got to think about it, this will just be one big shape now the blend is gone. You can't edit it. Creating a duotone, yeah, duotone, that's another another good identifier for that, or descriptor or whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean, cold meds. Superman logo. Yep. So let me pause there. Did you guys? Is anybody trying to follow along? Got stuck? Need? Have you made progress on the site? I'm assuming you mean the pretzel site. It's getting there. It's getting there. We gotta get it in Mike's hands when it's ready to build. Mike's the dev dude. Really awesome guy. You can unclick preview, and your settings won't have to load each time. Yes, Mac. I like to see a preview though. But yes, if you're trying to save on resources and you don't want your computer to stall out, yeah, unclick preview. So I'm gonna assume here in a sec you guys are all cool and no one's stuck and everybody's just rocking and rolling. If you're following along on this effect, and let me double check the old Twitter feed, make sure I'm not missing anything there. All right, we're all good. Okay, so if no one's stuck, let's keep going. All right, so we're gonna do the same process again. One thing to be safe though is I want to use a bigger dot gain, but sometimes I notice halftones can get kind of weird. So I'm gonna Control C and copy this blend we just made, and Control F and paste in front. And I'm just simply gonna grab this and move this off the stage. I feel like we're gonna need this shape again later. All right, so let's fine tune. Well, let's halftone this one. All right, so again, go to your gradient tool, and we're gonna give it a gradient. And remember, the white ink's gonna be transparent, so let's just do something like that. And it doesn't have to be a linear gradient. You can also use a radial gradient. It's any type of gradient. The halftone filter will run on it, right? So you can do, like, I don't know, make the angle diamond, or I forget what all the different ones are. We have linear, radial. Well, I guess you have to. So okay. Well, that might get a little complicated. You can use like mesh gradients if you guys ever play around with that, and that you can halftone that too. So if you want to get pretty complex with halftoning, you can. But let's go up to Effect. Let me make sure this is picked real quick. Effect, Pixelate, and again the color halftone, and it's retaining our settings. So say we wanted to make this one a little bit bigger. You know, the radius of the dot size bigger. Is this corner option by default opened on Illustrator? I know I have the right Illustrator version, but I don't have this option. The corner option. You mean the live corners? I don't know. If you mean live corners, it pops up when you have the direct select tool in focus. I'll let stream catch up, see if that's what you meant. All right, so let's click OK, and boom, we got a big old fat halftone. So I don't quite understand the reasoning, but we do have, you know, even though we had 100% ink at the top, you know, we're still getting some dots in there. If anybody knows why, let me know. But that's why we saved a copy just in case. So let's go through the same process here. You know, let's go to Object and Expand Appearance. Excuse me, we'll live trace that. So we go to black and white logo. Let it do its thing. I wish it saved the settings here, but it doesn't. So I got to bump all this back up. So 99. These little circles in the corners of a shape when you can tweak. Yes, so that's live corners. So if you have the, let me show you that real quick. And then turn noise back down to 1. I'm going to click on, ignore the white areas. And there we go. And then expand. And there we go. And I'm going to go back to my violet color. All right, so we've got this big monster halftone effect happening back here. Yeah, so the live corners, like if I just draw out a square, right, and I have this selected, you'll see the dots for the corners there. Now, if you're looking, there's a few ways you can use these things. Like if you simply just double click one, or not, that didn't do it. Can't I double click this? Maybe that's where I have to use a direct select. So you can grab one and like pull on it, like that. Or if you go to direct select, I think that's where it allows you to select just one. I think. Okay, so if you have the direct select icon in use and you double click on one of those dots, then you can input your value if you want to do it that way. And you can change some other corner stuff, I guess. So there you can, like, you know, you can bump up the radius here, you know, and say just do 1 point. Cancel out of there. I usually just select 1 point and I go up to here. It's usually up at this upper toolbar. I don't know if that was a setting where I loaded it up there, but I think it's just default. So I usually just come up here and just start bumping up the corners to, you know, whatever I want it to be. So yes, that's live corners. So why do you image trace it and not just leave it how it is after the color halftone step? So I have to trace it to apply the color to it. Yeah, and to turn it into a vector shape. There's still dots there because the top of the gradient isn't true black, so it's still making some white space to make it off black. Okay, you know, let's back up and see if I'm sure Mac's right. We're gonna actually, let's just get rid of this one. That's a good point. I didn't think to look at that. So Control C, Control F. Now Mac, does that only work if it's, I guess if it's RGB? So let's turn our gradient back on and let's try that out. That's probably it. If I double click the black ink side, you'll notice that it is 100% K, but Mac mode's right. So true, there's different there's different colors of black in the print industry. All right, 100% K for black is not the same as like what Mac was saying is called rich black. Now I forget why K isn't like true black, but there's maybe you remember Mac, but there's a percentage of each color of CMYK where you can add cyan, magenta, yellow, and then 100% black, which makes it a much richer black. All right, so it'd be like what do you call it? And then you know, there's just I want to say saturated. Is saturated the right term to use? It's just you've got all the colors into it of print colors to where you're going to get like a thicker like black ink essentially, right? Since we're working in RGB though, what we want to do is, this is in grayscale, we want to go to RGB and let's go. You might have just saw the flicker actually if you notice that. It just went, you might have saw it go a little bit darker here. It's not, it's not, so when I learned, it wasn't 50-50-50, it was like, I don't know if it was 60-40-40 either. I remember it being like some real random numbers. Maybe it's just the print environment I was in. Maybe everybody's got their own, it might be that everybody might have their own different formula for a rich black. But yeah, I thought it was like 60 and like 38 and 30 like 7 or something weird. I forget. But yeah, so essentially it's like it'd be like taking I don't know, you know, say you've got a canister of black ink and then or how do you put it? It's like you know, it's like if you were little and using watercolor, you know, if you know that if you just kind of watercolor some stuff, it's not going to be super you know, saturated or vibrant because it's kind of washed out. Then you start mixing all the colors together and you get like this real muddy stuff, you know, and it's like super thick. It's kind of the same idea, except we're just trying to make it a richer black ink. And actually now, this might tell me, so in RGB, if I have 0000000 is the color black in a hex code, right? Or RGB is all set to 0. If I go back to CMYK, no, I thought it might switch it to true black, but I guess it doesn't. There was a way, I thought it used to do that. Because if I went from like, let's try HSB, no, I thought it used to just change it. Anyway, well, let's test this. Let's see if just that hex value will do the same thing. So let's go back to our gradient, right? And let's do like this. And if this works, this will be cool. Okay. So again, effect, pixelate, color halftone. And let's do like 16. Okay. Boom. And there you go. Listen to Mac. He knows what he's talking about. So now we don't have any gaps in our black ink, which is awesome. All right. So again, we want to go to, I'm already forgetting the steps. We want to go object, expand appearance, right? Let's image trace this puppy with black and white logo. We'll start with that. Preset, we will go and turn all the dials up. Bam. Ignore the white ink. That. Expand. Boom. Now we can apply color to it. All right. we just saved ourselves a couple steps. Everybody give Mac a round of applause. Thank you, Mac. See, you learn something new every day. I've been using these programs since early 90s, and I still learn something new every day. All right, and in hindsight, you know, I'm wishing. Let's go ahead and let's redo our text here too, because I like, now that we know that trick, thanks to Mac here, and all you other print aficionados in the chat. I appreciate you guys stopping by for sure. It's always a combined team effort when it comes to me. So let's go to object path, and we'll do it again here. Offset path, and I want to let's do a preview. I want to do a little, maybe a little thinner. I think 12 is good. Maybe let's try 10. No, let's go back 12. Let's go back 12. And what's round look like? Round looks funnier. That kind of looks like, now it's starting to remind me of My Little Pony, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and unite these. All right, I want to make sure that, go ahead, and I'm going to drop some color in to make sure we still have our other colors. All right, so let's go to here. Now it's kind of looking like, it's kind of cool. It looks like you'd see on a, you know, in a toy store or something. Let's go the other direction. Let's start the pink will be from the top this time, and I want it to run a little bit. We'll start our gradient off the lettering a little bit more. All right, let's double check now that we know this trick that we've got it set to RGB here, so it is a true black. And effect, pixelate, color halftone. I think we had, what we had before, 8. Let's do 10, just to kind of change it up. All right. Now we go to, I'm already starting to forget, go to object, expand appearance. Okay. Let's trace this thing again with, we'll start with the black and white logo preset. It's just the easiest one. It's the easiest preset just to kind of trigger this thing on to see what's happening. That's the only reason why I really pick it. And it's kind of the better one when you're working with just a black and white images. All right, so now let's open up the palette. Let's turn all these up again. Like so, and I'm gonna turn noise down to 1. I wish it would remember my settings here just until I change it. Ignore white is clicked on. All right, expand that out. Now we can change it to the hot pink color. And cool, we got gradient happening again. All right, one little thing I had going on here is that I wanted to give this type a shadow, so I'm going to select these letters and press Control G to group them, and I'm going to make these letters now that same violet, and Control C, Control F to paste in front. We made a copy, and we're just going to cursor it up with our keyboard a couple times, and that'll give it kind of a shadow effect. All right, so we got this crazy type thing happening, lots of dots. Do I remember Sticker Grub? That's me. Yeah. I remember Sticker Grub. I've been meaning to check on you guys, see how it's all cooking over there. Very cool. All right, so we got our text happening. In the live trace, can you make your settings a preset? I don't know. You know, let's see if we can. Let's try it again. Maybe let's push this effect one more time. We'll use another color. I'm going to select our type here, object path. We'll offset path again, and it's remembering that one. All right, so let's okay that, and I'm going to unite all this. Where are you? All right, and we'll push it backwards. And I had kind of like we can do something like this too. Though I need it to go. I lost my shadow shape here. Let me see if I can drill down and get it real quick without having to lose it all again. Look at all those dots, and they're not like, oh, that's what I did. Okay, I'm not gonna go fishing that layer out right now. I don't feel like doing it, so we're just gonna do this again. Make that one. We have a duplicate back there, but that actually looks kind of cool. Control C, Control F. I'm being lazy. Don't fault me. All right, something like that. Let's see. So you wanted to see if we could make a live trace setting. Let's see if we can do that. So I'm gonna drag out a square, and we're gonna give it a gradient, and make sure this is RGB. All right. So effect, pixelate, color halftone. Go to 8. Okay. And then object, expand appearance. Let's see if you're right. Well, I said that wrong. Let's see if we can. Black and white logo. Start with that. Open up the palette. Can we save that out? Let's see if we can find that. So let's do all our adjustments. See. Okay. Ignore white. Is there save as new preset? Let's try that. All right, save as new preset. We'll call this halftone effect refinement. I think we can save it. Okay. All right, so we have our preset saved there. Now I should be able to click it and hit expand. All right, so we have our shape there. All right, let's do it again and see if our preset still lives. All right, so let's go there, give it a gradient, and then effect, and we can just say apply color halftone again, and it should remember all our settings there. Object, expand. And let's look under presets, and there it is at the bottom. Halftone effect refinement, we called it. Boom. Did it save it all? It sure did. It also remembered to ignore white. So yeah, there you go. We made our own preset, which is pretty cool. So now we just expand it, and boom. Just made that all easier. So awesome. We have a preset we can fall back to now. And we have our type style happening here, which looks pretty cool. I think, you know, the more I'm looking at it, I think I should have went to just more corners and not be rounded, because it's looking, I don't know, it looks kind of, it looks a little too bubbly around the type. And I think actually corners might help this shadow a little bit. So I kind of want to do it now. If you guys bear with me, I just want to do it real quick and make it look sharp. So we'll run through this. All right, so object path, offset path. It's preview. I don't want round though. I want meter or miter. 12. And this, let's go ahead and while we're doing this, I'll show you guys again. Let's look for areas to clean up, right? So we make it, and this, you know, I'm gonna save this. This is a cool effect. This on its own. Watch this. So I'm gonna go back to stroke, and I'm just going to actually color, and we're gonna swap this, because I don't know, that looks kind of cool, and I think I want to Control C. And I like just how this looks. And I want to remember that. I may not make it as heavy last time because I'm getting some weird things around the T, but I kind of like that effect, and I want to remember doing that. All right, so let's double click in here. Actually, we need to ungroup all this stuff. So ungroup. All right, and I'm gonna select path here. Let's see if we can make this look pretty clean. This is going back to who asked earlier on about your logos just don't look like as professional as you want them to or whatnot. This is one of those situations. So we're kind of doing it live. Down here, this doesn't look, you know, we went through the effects and whatnot, but it doesn't look very polished. You know, there's still the like, I don't know, some of the shadows look off. This looks weird, you know what I mean? So let's go back and take the time to go ahead and redo this part. And now that we know how we want to apply all these effects, and we'll try to, you know, refine it and polish it up as we're working on it. So I'm going to unite all these with the Pathfinder, unite, and object arrange, send back. All right. So that'll be our pink area. And there's a couple little weird spaces in here that, I don't know, I can't decide if we want to get rid of them or make it thicker. Maybe what we do is make a copy. Lots of copies, because you never know like what you want to end up with. All right, let's leave this for now, and let's go ahead and run through the gradient part again. Okay. Control C, Control F. I'm gonna make a lot of copies just so. See, just simply by moving that up, I see, you know, these shapes look kind of weird to me, but we'll leave them for now. All right, so. And I think I still liked the pink starting from the bottom, so we'll do it that way. All right, so effect, pixelate, color halftone. Let's do a smaller pattern. This should go quicker now that we have our preset. So image trace, it should be under here, halftone effect. Okay, it's gonna think about that. Let's expand it. Illustrator's getting kind of slow because we got a lot of paths and whatnot happening. So this becomes that color. Object arrange, send it back. And I just cursored it up, so I should be able to just cursor it right back down into place. All right, so that, let's go to object path again. Offset path, let's preview it. I want to get rid of that, enough to get rid of that little gap in the P there. So let's go to, I don't know, let's try 14. Okay, that's close enough. Let me get rid of that little dot there. Let's grab this and move it down. Yeah, see, I'm already liking the sharp edges better, I think. So Control C, Control F, we have a new shape. Drag this down. This is going to become our blend, right? Object, blend, make. And it's remembering our settings from last time, so we're good there. Object, blend, expand. Let's unite that. Okay, let's give this a gradient. I got it. Now I keep looking for that rich black just to make sure it's there, or true black, or whatever it is. So let's drag our gradient into place. In here, I want to make sure that I'm starting the white ink inside, because I want that to be completely, you know, I want it to look like it's kind of fading out into the paper. All right, so let's run through our pixelate again, color halftone. Okay, I'm leaving it on 8. Let's bump that up. Effect, pixelate, color halftone. Let's do this to 12. Okay. Remember to expand it. Use our preset. Expand again. Change it to the color we want. All right, so for these letters, we want to group these. Control G. Make this the dark violet we got. Control C, Control F. Back to paper color. All right, so that's looking pretty cool. I like that much better. All right, so looks We got a lot of cool halftone effect stuff happening here. Another thing I like to do is maybe give these other letters a punch. So, what's up, David? What do we have here? We got a lot of dots. A black and white, or black, white, and red would be a nice illusion of Scarface. Ooh, oh, you're right. Yep. Let's look at. Oh, look at what Tyler. All right, is this Mac? That looks pretty cool. So you've got the gradient happening. I love how you're knocking this out with the overlay. That looks pretty cool. That's a great idea. That's a nice effect. I gotta retweet that real quick and like it, of course. This is nice. Face to face. Very cool. I see you're using. Did you use the arc? Which one is it? Arc lower, and then use the negative curve in there to get the bottom of face to do the curve, but keep the top flat, nice and flat and straight. I love how you did the halftone, background we got here. It's I dig it, dude. It looks really cool. I love the color palette you chose. Yeah, perfect. Nice job, dude. Let's see. Old class project. Oh, is this? Let me see. Yep, Futura. That's pretty cool. Right on, dude. What were the other ones you posted? First font on the moon has been. Now that I think about it, I was watching. Oh yeah, that is Futura for Lincoln Park. FedEx. Yep, Best Buy. Futura has to be. It has to be. See, if anybody wants to look up when did Futura hit the scene, because now I'm thinking about it. I was watching it. There's this channel of this guy that just opens up old army rations, and he even eats some of them. But I remember when he's showing the tops of some of the cans, they're written in Futura, and he opened one from. Was it World War II? Was Futura around during World War II? Was it in use? I don't remember if Futura was in use or not. All right. I'm gonna keep motoring, but if you guys come across, when it was first created, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, Billy, I'll put it up on YouTube. I gotta catch up. There's no one going up tomorrow, and then I think I gotta put another one that's still missing, and that one's got to go up too. So I try to put these up on YouTube. And if I get one more comment about my laughter on YouTube in a negative way, I'm going to blow everything up. I'm sorry. Futura, 1927. Yeah, I'm way off. Okay, so yeah, it was in use. Man. I wonder when it became like, if it was designed in 27, I wonder when it started getting into like major use. It's one of those fonts like Helvetica and Arial. It's just you can't go wrong with it for the most part. All right. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna make kind of a wavy shape through the typeface here. So let's just draw a couple. Watch this. Draw a couple squares. Couple rectangles, not squares, like that. Okay, and let's make a copy of this text. Control C, Control F, and this is gonna give it some pop. So it's just gonna be white like that. All right, we're gonna use. Let me give these some colors just so you guys can see them. For these two rectangles, let's do something loud. Let's do green. We're gonna go back to that effect panel, right? So let's go to Effect and go to Warp. And I think we want to use flag. All right, and see how this is just a real quick way to give it a nice little wave, like going through the letters. So we'll bump the bend up any direction you want for the most part, like that. Give it some bend. Okay, now let's expand that. So Object, Expand, Appearance. So now we have, you know, we have this white, the copy of our text is just filled with white behind it. Let's just select that text. And actually, we might run into a placement. I don't want to catch the top of this in here. All right. So maybe something like that. Let's select our text and let's press Shift M for Shape Builder, and we're gonna get rid of this stuff like that. All right. And now what we did is we have, you can kind of see the color of the artboard. You know, we have the same color, and it's a nice wave, kind of what do you call it? Two-tone type thing. All right, so let's do the bottom one. Shift M, hold Alt, and just delete the stuff we don't want of that copy we just made. You might see some little weird areas that you might have to zoom in and get rid of, but there we go. We just gave it kind of a nice little wave effect going through the whole thing, which looks kind of cool. So that's a nice little method there to make that. All right, you know what? Maybe this should be not that far, but I wonder if that looks too weird or not. Can't decide. Yeah, but there's a lot of, now I'm looking at it, there's a lot of like little areas that I would probably redo the whole thing over again, even though I'm not gonna bore you guys and do it again. But things that bother me, this little like slit coming between the N and the T, that bothers me. All right, this little area here, this strange little gap between the you know, the O and the N and the T. There's like little shapes happening here. That stuff that you know, you'd start to look for and identify, and you probably want to refine that stuff. Like I wouldn't let it, like, did I have anything? I think I looked for most of it here. You know, there's like a consistency, right? Like even the open shapes here, right? They're all kind of about the same size. They feel like they should be there, you know? I don't know how else to put it, but they feel like they need to be there for like, say this one, and it's going to change from word to word, whatever you're working on. Here, though, some of these are so tiny, they feel like they don't need to be there, right? They feel like they're kind of distracting. So, you know, maybe next time around, I would get rid of these little strange little gaps that, you know, they're just too tight, and you don't really need them. But that's stuff to look for during refinement phases and stuff like that. You know, before I forget, this looks cool. Stroke. Oh, I kind of like that. I'm gonna do something with that later. Okay, so we got that effect done, showing you guys halftones and whatnot. This up here was just super easy. So I was using a font called still don't know. I'm gonna call it Swarge, and this is just a real quick way to do, just like with the pen tool, we're just gonna make like a quick little highlight to it. So find any brush font you like, and I'm gonna say, let's see, what would be a good like intro to Pony Montana here? I can't think. Yeah, taking everybody back to the 80s. All right, Mac, it's good to see you, bud. Thanks for stopping by. Glad to have you. Let's say the one and only. All right. Let's go ahead and go to our font. I'm going to find it. I'm going to turn off caps. And it is Swarge. One and only. I had that as pink, right? So let's boost this up. All right, and we just had it kind of laid on top here. And let's go ahead and turn this to outlines. And we got to unite it because it's all separate letters. So Pathfinder and go to unite. And then align, let's align it to the center of the artboard. All right. So we have our text up top. I'm gonna make this the dark violet color we got, and we're just gonna simply Control C, Control F, and using the cursor on our keyboard, the arrow keys, we're just gonna that's gonna become the shadow to it. All right, so let's zoom in, and let's kind of fake some highlights in there, and just use the pen tool. Super easy. Let's grab the pen tool. And imagine the light coming straight down on top of it, right? So there'd be a highlight on top of all the letters. So we're just going to draw lines. Let's just draw one to get started. And I might have to turn off smart guides just so I don't get any weird interactions with the the outlines below it. You can see it flickering. So there's a stroke. Let's go ahead and give that the color we need to use, which is going to be our board color, right? So let's just do that. And this, you're just kind of simply following it. It's not really, you don't have to be precise at all. It's just kind of, it is a little tedious, but it's a nice effect. Pretty easy going. And we're going to use another stroke preset for this one. So once we get all these lines out, we're going to simply change them all at once and not have to worry about doing each one individually. Think of it like a highlight on a balloon, right? Or like candy or something. I'm just using my mouse. I'm not, there's nothing special here. No tablet, just clicking away. And I'm just putting these on the top of each letter. And this one can be, let's say that one's a little bit different. Almost there. Oh, that one I kind of bent it a little too far. All right, so these are going to be our highlights. Let me double check that I'm not missing anything. Back to perfect. Back to Future. That's pretty cool, dude. Very cool. Oh man. So, all right, let's select all these. Oh, we don't want that. We just want the. And to make this easier, I could go select, same, fill and stroke. Then let me back out, make sure it only grabbed what we have. Yeah, okay, so we can do it that way. So let's zoom in a little bit. And let's go to our stroke palette, and let's go ahead and bump the weight up maybe to 2. And then there's some settings here. So on cap, let's make the end round. Okay. For the corners, let's make them round as well. Round join. And then under profile here, if you don't see profile, it might be hidden. So let's see. If we go to stroke, oh yeah, it hides almost everything. So if you don't have the options shown, all you'll see is stroke width, right? So go to show options, and you're gonna get a whole panel of extra stuff. Now down here you have profiles, and there's a profile I like, which is this top one, which is just, it goes from the width of your stroke or the weight to, just both ends are at 0. And just click that, and boom, that just kind of set us up for it. And you can see this cool little highlight thing. I'm gonna select it again, select same, fill and stroke, and I'm gonna set this actually to 1.75. Make it a little bit thinner. And there you go. Gave it a nice little highlight there. I think it's looking pretty cool. So yeah, that was how all of this came together. Now, the more I do it though, I'm looking, when you're working with this type of stuff, you'll see that some effects don't, like, some work really well with different shaped letters and some just don't. So like when I was talking about earlier with all these weird little gaps, you know, sometimes you know how much you want to offset a path might be different for you know, some words as you know, with other, you know, as opposed to others, or you know, vice versa. And also, you know, the having a single word up here works better than having, you know, a longer sentence here. So, you know, it just you might want to step back and look at the effect, and the effect might need to change, you know, a little bit here and there depending on what your overall word type is. So another thing I want to show you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and group this, Control G, and we're going to move this off of here. And I was going to show you guys, like, halftone is simply a fill, right? And it's just we're filling a shape with pattern, essentially. You can fill a shape with any pattern you can think of, and I figured, you know, let's look at some other stuff and maybe see, you know, other places where you can use fills. And this is why you chose a short slow. Yes. I just read your comment, Swami. Say hello, my little foal. Yeah, it does need a you know, we could draw. I'm getting the scene of My Little Pony with a whatever that Rambo looking machine gun was, with the big nice scar going over an eyeball. Perfect. Oh, Josh, thank you for the comments there. Yeah, it's a great effect. I mean, you can use it pretty much anywhere. Now, one place you can kind of use this effect, and let's see. I don't know if I can do it. Like, we're gonna try. I might have to kind of another area to use halftones is when you want to do like overlaps. And I haven't tried this out yet. I figured we'd kind of try it and see what we got going on here. But I think I had another font called Smoothly. Yes, but it's not. I need a thicker. Hold tight. I need to see if I have a kind of a thicker brush font. I got way too many fonts from over the years, and I don't even know. A lot of these I just need to get rid of them. I don't even use them anymore. All right. Thirsty. Okay, Thirsty is a font. You've probably seen it a lot lately, to be honest. I keep seeing it on like menus and whatnot. Thirsty would be a good one. Hold tight. Let me look at another one, because I want a brush or a kind of a brush handwritten style font that has some nice overlaps, like as it goes from character to character. Because we're gonna accentuate. Is that the right word? We're gonna accentuate those overlaps. Wolf in the City. I guess we could do it. We could do something kind of weird and use like, I don't know, like a maybe kanji or something might be kind of cool. You know, I guess we could do it with a block font too. Let's use intro for now, and we're gonna say give me a word. Oh, Arm, I'm glad I have some knowledge to pass on. Sometimes I wonder if any of it's useful, but you know. I'll wait for you guys to give me a word. Give me a word and name something that we can do this effect with. And we're gonna try and use the halftone effect to show like shadows. I don't know if it'll work all the way, but we're gonna give it a shot. Platypus. Kaplow. Let's see what platypus looks like. Platypus, it's got some areas we can overlap. Yeah. Let's go with that. Authentic. Yeah. Do we have any words that sound like they would be kind of overlappy. If that makes any sense whatsoever. I mean, we could do platypus. Why not? Let's do that. Yeah, let's do platypus. All right, so let's create shapes. Control O. And for this effect, let's do. We'll use our overlappy. We're gonna change the background color to a dark color. Let's use our violet color in the background. So I'm gonna make a copy of the background here. And we'll go about there, and this will be violet. And we're just gonna use this to work against. All right, and our text here, we're gonna go back to the artboard color. I like sticking with this color palette. I don't know, it looks kind of cool. All right, so remember, don't stick with the default. Close this stuff up if you see, you know, some opportunities to fine tune your text. This is another one of those things that talking about when, you know, refinement and trying to give it a little more professional look. Don't just type it out and leave it. There's always, for the most part, there's always room to like fine tune it and get your lockups looking good. All right. Okay, so let's center this up. Now you can kind of look for. Let's try this out. So this letter P, I feel like it could overlap. Like this beam could come over. Maybe it goes over and then under itself or something, right? So let's just drag out a square. And let me zoom in to make sure that we're on this edge here, right? Okay, so let's try something like this. And so we can give this a gradient, right? And like Max said, and all the other print masters there, make sure it's true black, and then let's go, you know, this direction. So we're gonna give it a shadow, right? All right, so we're gonna do the same process, but let's use a smaller dot size. Effect, pixelate, color halftone. See what 10 looks like. Okay. 10 is too big. Effect. Where'd you go? Pixelate, color halftone, 6. Yeah, maybe like that. All right. And so let's find some other overlaps. The L, we might want to just leave the whole L. I don't know. What do you guys think? But now we have this halftone here. I think we can just copy and paste it around, right? And hold shift and rotate it. Like, I don't know. Maybe the L just overlaps itself here. Let's zoom in and see how accurate we can get. And you see the raster, you can tell it's raster pixel based because it's all blurry. Okay. Now the bar, the A. Let's just follow this down. Well, sort of. Let's start at this cross beam. That. Take our gradient. Okay. Effect, apply color halftone. All right, maybe the T, it goes the other way, right? So like that. Gradient so that way. Effect, apply color halftone. The Y. Maybe this one is kind of. Maybe we just follow this down. Press Control Y so I can see my outline here. All right. Here we go up to about here. I'm gonna use Shape Builder real quick, get rid of the excess. All right. And this one we need to go this way because we want that halftone to be, the shadow to go upwards a little bit. I'm still, like I said, I haven't tried this yet, so we're gonna see what it looks like. You know, effect, apply color, halftone. Oh, effect, hit the wrong one. Oh, whoops, we had too many things checked. Right. What's up, Hefix? Extend and blend behind A. Yep. You could put a crease in the L, a crease instead of a shadow. You mean like? Yeah, because this might read as an I. We don't want it to read as an I. Could do there. Or yeah, we could get a little more. Like that. If we do that though, one cool thing is we can edit with the gradient tool where our halftone is going. Let's try that. Okay. So, and then we'll just copy this one. Do the same thing here. Now the U, let's see. Let's give it a little bit of a curve. Okay, select them both. Let's Shift M, go to Shape Builder. Make sure just this effect, apply color halftones, get the gradient tool out. Maybe it's kind of like that. And finally we have the S. Maybe we go towards the bottom. All right. Shift M, hold Alt, get rid of those. Go to our gradient tool. Oh, wrong way. Effect, apply color halftone. Oh, keep doing that. I keep selecting both. Effect. This, okay, this is off. Okay. All right. Effect. Apply color halftone. All right. I don't know how this is gonna look, but you know, we'll see how it works. All right. So let's select all our gradients. Right. Object. Expand appearance. Okay. Now, since they're all individual objects, we might have trouble live tracing them all at once. Okay, so let's do each individual. Halftone, we have our preset. Halftone. I think I can actually group these and then do it. Control G. No, I can't. All right. All right, so okay, I can select all of them and expand them though. That'll save us a couple seconds. All right, the A has a pretty heavy shadow, but we're just gonna leave it for now. So let's expand these, and then we got to do some cleanup because I'm pretty sure some of these edges might be kind of iffy. Like there. Okay, so let's clean this up. Grab our pen tool. We have some empty. points on this one. Except we needed that last one. And this one didn't come over all the way. So we're going to fudge it a little bit. We're just going to kind of... I wish there was a way to make it perfect circles. That's the next thing on my agenda to try to figure out. Make it circles. I think you might be able to use simplify. Can you use object, pass, simplify, preview? Nah. Yeah, that's one thing that I don't quite know if it's feasible. All right, so this one looks like this whole thing kind of shifted. Oh, there's a bird out there. I was wondering what was banging on my window. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use it's not super clean. All right. I was able to make the circles more effective by oversizing the original size, half-toning, then shrink the size. Oh, that's a good idea. Yep. The A shadow is weird. Yeah, that's why I said that. It's a little dark. And everything just kind of shifted on us a little bit. So just to like save time, instead of super refining, I'm just going to kind of move it until we have something sort of in place. All right, so now we should be able to take all of these and I'm gonna group them. I'm gonna select the letters in the halftone, and I'm gonna go to Pathfinder. I'm gonna go to Trim. Okay, so now if I double click into the group, I should be able just to select. Okay, I can take a selection, select same, fill and stroke, and then just delete. There we go. Kind of a real, gave it a nice effect. It's not super clean. I mean, you have to go in there and really clean it up, but it's pretty cool that that's just one color, right? That's just you just have your cream ink on top of the violet ink, right? And you're giving it this interesting shadow thing. So yeah, the angle of the shadow on the A should have been a little more diagonal rather than just straight across. But yeah, see, that's another like way to use a halftone to get an effect that way. There's actually, that turned out kind of cool. I like it. Platypus. I think it'd be more pleasing for the shadow to run parallel with top arm versus vertically. Which arm? Yeah, I'm sick, Catholics. All right, Craig, I just noticed you went back to watching TV. Thanks, Craig. No, I'm kidding. Gradient mesh tutorials using text, Blake is asking. That'd be interesting. I haven't used the gradient mesh in a while, but let's see if I remember it. Have any of you used the gradient mesh? Because I think you can apply halftones to that. I have to remember how to do this. Is it under... I forget where it's at to give it a mesh object. I feel like it's under here. Maybe I just start with this mesh tool. feel like there was a way where I could. I felt like there was a preset where it just loaded a mesh, but we can do it this way too. So the mesh tool, like we could do this, right? So now you should be able to select these areas like that anchor point, and I should be able to give it that. And I think I can I adjust each one individually? I don't remember if I can or not. No, I don't think I can. But you can be, you know, you can add a grid, you know, wherever like that. I haven't really used mesh tool that often, but let's just see what it does with halftones. All right, so I should be able to do the same thing. I've got this mesh gradient happening, and I should be able to go to Effect, Apply Color Halftone, and it's very, very small. Let's get Effect. Let's go back to Color Halftone. Let's bump this way up. Yeah, you can do stuff like that too, and then we'll run our preset. Or actually, let's try. What was the method? Who mentioned it about making it really big first? The other thing we can do is maybe we should play with this. So document raster effect settings. Can you go higher than 300? You might be able to, but I don't know if you'd want to. What if I want 600 ppi? And then we did it. Effect, color halftone. Okay. Zoom. Oh, it's thinking. I killed it. All right, so it's there. But because we turned the PPI up, effect, go back to 300. Oh, it's under here, isn't it? Okay, let's go to Object Expand. Let's try tracing this one. Let's see how close it is doing. Like crazy stuff to my eyeballs. It's hard to see what's happening. Okay, why did that do that? Oh, because I'm white is transparent and I'm not on the artboard. That's why. Okay. Duh. Okay. So our dots actually do look a little bit better. I mean, they look. Well, I don't know. Sorta. Expand. There's a lot of paths in here. Illustrator might need to take a break. So yeah, that's so you can halftone, you know, you can use the whole mesh gradient thing and halftone stuff. Yeah, it's starting to like really lag down. All right, so I want to just drag it over here long enough to see it, and then I'll get rid of it. Interesting. All right, so you can use mesh gradient more. Yes, oh, I love that word, more. Where did the window go? All right. Sorry if I'm fading a little bit. The cold medicine is starting to fall off. All right, so I'm gonna delete this. Now, we use the halftone effect, right? Like under the effect palette. Let's try doing fills. Okay, so actually I'm gonna save this whole page of nonsense, and we're gonna open up a new document. Although I want to steal the hex code for. Can't I save this out? To save it. Add selected swatches and color groups to my current library. sure I have a library open. Okay. My library. Let's do, I don't know, I'll put it back in wolf stuff. Let's drop this into here. Wait, right there. No color groups to be colors. You must have a minimum of 1 and maximum of 5 colors. How do I do this? Can't I just drag these in here? Oh, I don't remember how to do this. Do I have to do each individual one? No, I just want, okay, I select this, add. Get them all. Add. Okay, so save. It's thinking. I love that combination of font though, Futura and Swarge. I know I'm butchering that, but I don't know. So let's do another new document. So Illustrator has time to relax from all those paths we just shoved into it. I'm gonna save this out before I forget. I thought select the folder, but it didn't. Well, I didn't select the folder and press add. If I do a new folder and call it colors yo, and then add say I want like a magenta, right? And I move this into that folder. I select the folder. Now it just does the one. How do I just want to drag this whole folder into here. It doesn't want to let me do it. I guess you can't do that. Color group. Huh, yeah, I wonder how you can like save color group from one to another. Okay, so let's type out some text. Give me another word. What we have last time? Let's do swan meat. Swan meat. And we're gonna play with some fills. But we need a different font. What do we got? What do we got? I want to go back to Futura because I love Futura. Let's give Swan Meat Comica. Let's see, what else do I got? Interstate. What's your favorite font, Swan Meat? See if I have something close. What was that one? No, where'd it go? Ion block. Swan Meat, there we go. Let's use that one. Control Shift O. And this one we actually, since they're all like blocks, we don't have to worry about line spacing for the most part. So say Swan Meat here. Let's give it a, let's zoom in, and we're gonna make our own kind of halftone style look and feel thing. All right, so one quick way to do this is let's use the blend tool again, and let's make squares. Okay, so let's do something cool. Let's draw a square, right? And that's gonna be, imagine our gradient thing that's gonna happen. Let's draw a square like that. Control C, Control F. We'll make another square up here at the top. And this one will get really tiny, and let's rotate it once. All right, and let's make both of these our pink. This one. Okay, go like that. Object, blend options, specified step. We still want specified steps. We don't want 200. The Queen's appetizer. Let's make this like 12. Okay. Okay. Object, blend, make. Ooh, it's kind of crazy. Let's knock the steps down a little bit. Blend options. Let's go to like 8, so we get some some space in between. Oh, that's cool what it did. See how it's going from a square into a kind of a circle and then back into the diamond? Let's do 6. That's kind of interesting. If we do this, watch how that blend changes. Maybe we just do something like that. All right, so now let's turn this into a pattern essentially. So let's go to Object, Blend, and let's expand it. And let's go to Object, where to go? I'm looking for pattern. I can't see it. Pattern, make. Okay, so let's have some fun with this. Let's go to brick by column and go to an 1/8 maybe. And that may not get us where we want to be. We can't go any smaller than that. So let's cancel this for now and we'll just make a copy. Control C. Before we do that, we can unite it. Control C, Control F. I'm just going to cursor it over a couple times. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we can still, now I'm looking at, because I was going to offset it. Like, but I don't, now I'm looking at it, I don't know. Yeah, let's offset it. Let's go like that. All right, so we have kind of our shape here. And I want to get kind of precise on this bottom part. I should be able to make this a pattern. Edit, no object, pattern. Make, and we're gonna use a grid. Oops. Try to remember how to do this. So we want it to then I need to move, I forget how to move the boundaries. Oh, there was a way to do it. Is it artboard? No, that's not it. Oh, I don't remember. I'm trying to remember, but my brain's not working. There was a way to move boundaries here. Like the tile area, is it under? Man, I don't remember how to do this. I'm trying. Isn't it in the middle section? There was I thought there was a way. It's essentially this blue boundary I need to move, and I don't remember how to move it. Oh, and I keep. Actually, keeps making selections, so I just need to double click this one I already have. Oh, right under where you pick the grid. Where was it? If I bring this down, I thought there was a tool though where I could just grab it. Width 18, no. And height, I need it to go 20. So I need some space. 50. Well, let's just save that for now. Done. So swamp meat, we'll start with our, back to our library. Control C, Control F, and I should be able to just pick this swatch. All right, now I forget how to move it around though. I think I have to go to Object. Is it Transform? Transform patterns. Let's preview, move. Okay. So you can do something like that too. But our original, so now I should be able to double click this and we should be able to fix this. Let's see if we can tighten this up real quick. Yeah, see, that's about the same. Okay, so I want to select these. If I group this, no, 20, no, that's too far. You know what? It might be easier just to make this a, and see how it applied it, which is actually kind of, it made kind of a cool effect. I was trying to remember how to do that, you know, in that method. The other method is just simply to take this and we can make a, I think we can make a brush pattern out of it. So we can unite this, or actually, that, right? So object, clipping mask, make, okay. Then make this, no. Okay, so that's a cleaner way. Edit. No, object, pattern, make. We want grid, size tile to art, like that. Done. Okay, so this, now we can pick that one. Object transform. We gotta go to move. We want to only transform the pattern though. Preview this, and we want vertical, right? 10. Okay. That. So these are fills, right? You can make anything into a fill. Say you want to do like a star thing, right? You can drag the brushes and do make pattern brush and it would be fine unless I am mistaken what you're going for. Oh, what are you saying, Jeff? Hold the tilde key and use arrows to move pattern within the path, by the way. Wait, like this? Hold tilde. That's what I needed. Holy cow, okay. Yeah, so it's, oh, I broke it. It's that button, right? That button. Hold that button and cursor. Jeff, man, you guys are like really saving my bacon tonight, man. That just saved a whole bunch of time. Okay, hold the tilde key and cursor it around. Man, you guys. Oh, Hyperlexia, I'm glad we're sparking ideas. It's funny. I don't even. Yeah, you guys are always throwing shortcuts at me that, man, you'd think I'd know this by now. So let's take a copy of Swan Meat, and I think Swan Meat needs some stars, right? So I'm gonna make a star, but I'm gonna use star tool, and we're just gonna go 4-pointed, okay? But I'm gonna leave it like that, right? So 4-pointed, and I'm gonna select and use live corners on the inside here. Actually, we need a bigger radius. Boom. 12. Okay. Let's round these inside corners a little bit. All the way. Okay. And let's do it off over here. Make a copy real quick. Edit. Okay. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Edit. No, cancel. What I hit? Object. Pattern. Make. All right. Let's do brick by row. Width 20. Yeah, it looks cool. Let's leave it like that. We'll call this Swan Meat Stars. Okay. Done. So now I select Swan Meat, and we should be able to do boop, Swan Meat Stars. It's a lot of stars there. Let's say we want to change this. We'll select that star. Let's make it the pink color. Done. And it just updates like that. Boom, fills. Pretty easy, pretty cool. You can do all sorts of stuff. I'm sampling you hitting your desk. It sounds like a really hard trap. I know, it's a mechanical keyboard. It's super loud. One sec, guys. I'm going to double check the dog is okay. All right, the dog is good. We can continue. Oh, did I not say what I was? Yeah, double check the dog. The dog hasn't been outside in a while, so I was double checking that the dog has not done anything bad to the house. I had to get a piece of chocolate with that. All right. Okay. So we have fills. So this whole thing, we should be able to also, if we wanted to, we could do crazy stuff, and we could give it an arc, and it won't affect. What's cool here is it won't affect the pattern. Like, it's not going to arc the pattern since we left it as a swatch, which is kind of cool. So that's pretty cool. So let's see. Have you guys come across any text effects that you wanted to see? And let's check Twitter real quick. see what's up. Subaru, not with shadows. So we could do more of like the overlap stuff. Maybe a monogram. Before I get into that, let's finish off Swami right quick. And let's actually go like this. See what that looks like. That got crazy. I wonder why that moved so much. Oh, because it offset if I ungroup. Because I didn't expand it first, that's why. Object, okay. Object, expand appearance. Now object, path. Offset path, that, and that should work. That's still off. I don't know what I did. Well, I did something that it doesn't like. So, well, yeah, I hit something along the way that it doesn't like. A quick method to do if you're ever trying to do monograms, like a quick method to do monograms. Oh, that's weird. Is the arc not sticking? Huh, it did move. This object. Huh, that was weird. How was it locked and I still was able to move it? That's very strange. Okay, well, like quick and dirty monograms. I like using a font that is like, I've got one that Silver Fake, which I like. Like you can do like I don't know, S. One every uses in t-shirts is distressing. Yep. Man, ambigrams. I don't know how to do ambigrams. Those things like rot my brain. But when editing the pattern, there's a button in the top left corner to edit the bounding box. Is there? Okay, hold on. We gotta find that real quick. This is gonna drive me nuts. So, edit. Object pattern, make, change the color real quick. Top left of the bounding box. Where? Didn't sign it, but there's a button in the top left corner to edit the bounding box. Is it this? Oh, it looked like it was already active. Okay. That's, so you have to toggle it on. Got it. Okay, because then we could do stuff like, all right, Swami, you're gonna get fancy. Swan meat, fancy stars. Done. Very glittery swan meat. Y'all just drag the object into the swatches panel and it'll make it a pattern automatically. That's right. Yeah. All these little tricks. Let me get rid of this over here. All right, so let's see. Kind of quick and dirty ways to make monograms. Usually, let's see. Let's pick. What would be a good? Let's do an E. You usually just start with a font and then manipulate it. Or you can use a font and just use it as kind of a swan meat wrapping paper. Like, I can't think of some good letters for monograms. What would be a good? Give me a good couple letters for monogram. Like this E is nice and blocky. Oh, I keep selecting other stuff. An F. Two letters. DEA. IRS. Yeah. We don't want to play with those letters. No, we're gonna do like New York. We can do New York. Yeah. So, I don't know, I've got this font, say we do NY. And let's create outlines and ungroup. Let's align, center. This might be a little tricky with the serifs. We might, let's move these serifs around. That. And then you just kind of, these wider fonts seem to be easier. You know, say you wanted to do a lockup like that or something. I don't know. Actually, that's not, we're not even, there's only one overlap here. I'm trying to think of a situation where we'd have like multiple overlaps. I mean, but like quick and dirty is, you know, the range, bring to front. Is to use offset path again, path, offset path. Let's preview it, 14. That'll be fine. Let's change this to just a white color. Move this out of the way. You know, and then use shape builder. Maybe play with line of corners a little bit to round it out, but you can you can start getting shapes like that, and let's see, that didn't group it. That looks nice because the crossbar, the end, and the Y are the same angles. Then all right, we're gonna have to move the old swan meats. Where am I going here? Stroke. Let's do inside. Let's just try to match the line width. That. Very quick and dirty monogram. optically this needs to come up a little bit. There you go. I can live in an alternate universe where FBI agents have some fancy monogram on their vest. FBI, how do we do that? Well, let's see. This is where I got to sketch real quick. A pony effect for floatality. A pony effect? Oh, you know what? There was something else I wanted to try. Where you just use like a letter. Let's use an E. And let's go back to Futura. Futura extra bold. And just kind of build shapes around it. Like, where's our... All right, gradient. We want to use... Oh, can't I? RGB. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I do this? So I need this. No, give me that one. Oh, I can't even do that. Come on. This is so weird. Okay, why? Go there. Why can't I drag this back in here? Oh, this is not... This isn't... Why aren't you complying? Do I have to manually punch it all in? F874. This is RGB. I gotta put this on my to-do list to figure it out. All right, so then I play with gradient here. Actually, I need to go that way. The shadow is going the other direction. Oh, you know what? We can use... can we use that? If we go 2, 3, 9, A, B, 0. 2, D1, 2, 4, 9. 90s internet browser icon. Now these, I don't understand this, but these I can drag down into the swatch panel. I don't know why. I don't know why I couldn't before. All right, I'm gonna restart this one. So let's go to Effect, Warp, Flag. Okay, object, expand. Okay. This one. I need one more. With our FF D7A B. All right. Save that gradient too. Okay. Group these so I don't lose them. I'm just gonna kind of place them around. Object arrange, bring to front. Some. We're gonna see if bring these all the way up. And just take copies. Send that one back. I need another red one. What's up, Rick? We do indeed. And then I'll just make the E that color. Okay, so I should be able to go. All right, so I should be able to group all this. Control G, and I'll make a copy of the E. Object arrange, bring to front. Clipping mask make. That's kind of cool. I'm just thinking, I wonder if we can, I mean, this would not, like, I don't know if you'd want to print this, but, I bet a donut font exists. I'm wondering if we can turn this into a pattern, right? Oh, that was not intentional, but kind of looked cool. So then we could do something with this New York icon. Which would look cool if we did the same. I like that blue. That, man, it's such a nice looking blue. Just trying to quickly vary up the angles, you know, just to give it a little. So then this would go bring to front, object range, bring to front. This, let's fill it with white. The stroke here, white, and then Control C, Control F. We're gonna use that as a clipping mask. We gotta group this stuff though. I get them all? I feel like I missed one. Control G and then select the object, clipping mask, make. Looks like I got a gap here. That looks kind of cool. And then let's lock that. Object range, bring to front. Range, bring to front. Well, object unlock all. I'll go ahead. I'll just scale this one instead. And this one here isn't quite dark enough to set off that monogram. Let's move it to a darker area. I mean, the pattern doesn't really have anything to do with New York. I mean, it looks kind of patriotic, I guess. But that's kind of cool. Throw a small stroke on it. Don't the way it knits together almost looks like muscle. It does look like the red, especially, huh? Looks like tendons. I could just stretch some of these. But I mean, it's pretty cool. This effect we did what, in like not even 10 minutes, right? It's just like we just flew through it. I mean, one thing we could do is we could just grab these, and they're all the same gradient. So we could just, let's go to HSB, and then we'll just turn up the saturation and turn down the darkness just a hair. I don't know, it's more kind of brownish. But, you know, just to up the readability on it, the contrast a little bit. I mean, we just did this on the fly, so it's not like we're not looking for anything, you know, we're not looking for precision. We're just like, hey, this is something you can do. It's cool, you know? But yeah, I mean, the E looks pretty slick, I might have to say. I'm wondering if there's got to be a way, you know, to turn this into a seamless pattern that we can just drop as a swatch onto anything. That would be pretty cool. Let's move these off. I better save this before I forget. This gives me ideas, though, you know. I love that blue color. What would be cool for my logo? Yeah, Flatally. It would be cool. I'm trying to think if there's like I bet there's a way. You know, there's all those like third-party plugins and presets and actions and stuff. I wonder if something like this would be very difficult to turn into just a quick action. Somebody mentioned a drop shadow. We could do that. We could group these and we'll go under appearance and do it. So appearance, we should be able to give it a, what is it under? Stylize, no. Drop shadows in here somewhere. Artistic? I know I've seen it. Where are you? SVG filter, stylize. That's stylize. Okay. There's, oh, it screws me up because there's two stylize here. Stylize, drop shadow. Now, you gotta be careful with drop shadows though. They can get super taxing on the system and take a while to, I don't want to blur this though. Like they can really bog down your system sometimes. I was using a drop shadow under appearance for some large format graphics, and every time I even like went near that file, it was like brrr, everything came down to a grinding halt. So be careful on using those type of effects with if you've already got a complicated, you know, art piece going on, because it can get out of hand quick. You know, one thing that I just noticed though, which is kind of cool, is we got a lot of different styles out of the same color palette, you know, which is kind of cool. Very nice. I'm trying to think of what else we could, you know, what other effects. I mean, for the most part, we did. I wanted to do this was to focus on fills and kind of show you guys just like the power of it. Really show halftones. I feel like that's never. Every time I come across a halftone tutorial, it's kind of like there's always just like. There's always some unanswered questions here and there, you know, so I just kind of wanted to go through that and show you guys that and how to apply it to text and how to keep the colors down, which is super important. If you're trying to print this stuff like screen printing, man, every color counts. And so if you can find methods to keep it down, to use these effects, it's a lifesaver sometimes. One other thing, you might have seen it before, but just using like how we did the turn this star into a pattern, a simple like, you could even like double these guys up. You know, just using a simple dot pattern where it's not a halftone but just a dot comes in really handy in some places. Oh, now you go, Swami. Super fancy. The method you just did, but turning the gradients into halftones could be pretty cool. You want to see what that looks like? I don't know what that'll do. If we go to, let's just try it. Effect, pixelate, color halftone. I don't know what it'll do. That's pretty trippy. So we're getting a very interesting color shift here. What's up, Integris? Since last time I saw you, I was on a Mac, and now I'm running boot camp. I'm so happy because I feel like I'm missing out by not using Windows. Right on. Yeah, so color halftone on here, effect, apply color halftone. You're gonna get some interesting combinations here. Which, I don't know, is this technically... See, we got a lot of... We've got black, white, there's a purple in here, then there's a red happening. So that definitely doesn't keep your color count down. But it does make some cool effects. So one other real quick thing is, we talked about that mascot text. We only got like 7 minutes left, but I wanted to show you that real quick. Like say you're doing like, I don't know, what's a good, let's do the dragons, right? So mascot text, real quick and dirty way, right? You got dragons. Let's find a let's do Oswald. It's a free bold. Or actually, let's do I think I got, or no, what's the Jen might be a good one. It was Capone. Oh, come on, you can find it. Capone. You know, say you're doing something like this, right? So, and you need to do like a mascot thing, remember? So we go to, let's go ahead and turn this into outlines and say, you know, you want to stylize this just a little bit. Let's make the last two letters a little taller, right? Right? And then you can go to Effect, Warp, and let's do Arc Lower. And these are all messed up. We're going to go horizontal. If we give it a slight, just negative bend, you know, you get that cool effect. So then you could do like, you know, and since I haven't expanded it, if I go in here and fool around with the type, it should all keep. It's not gonna lose the base, you know. So say we did something like that. So then you could do, I don't know, say it's Los Angeles, you know, and this could be, let's just use Avenir for now, heavy, and stretch it out. Right, let's turn this into shapes, and this is just so you guys, you know, can see how to use this effect palette to do real quick like mascot type text. Let's align this so I can. So Los Angeles here, we can give that an arc effect. Let's do apply arc effect, warp, arc. right? It's kind of goofy because we're going quick, but then here, object, say we expand it, object expand, and then object path, offset path, preview, something like that. Give it the gradient for now. Let's Pathfinder unite it. Object arrange, send it back. Yeah, we need to do some major cleanup. This is super fast. You know, so you select those. Down a bit, you would get rid of this thing for sure. It looks really janky, but it proves a point. Object unlock all. You know, let's say that was pink, and these become just that. This is super fast, but it gives you, you know, gives you an idea. So use an arc, you know, and you know, arc lower, arc upper, whatever you want to use. That's how you can, with a lot of refinement, you know, because we flew through that and it looks kind of weird, but that's how you do that type of stuff using the effect. So we are at 9:58. Holy cow. Or not 9:58, 6:58. So we're at the end of the stream. I hope you guys learned some stuff. I'm sorry if my brain shut down a lot because of this cold bug going around. But yeah, I will be here. I won't be here next Tuesday. I'm gone next Tuesday. I'll be here the following Tuesday. I don't know who's on next Tuesday, but I will be here the Tuesday after that. So we're gonna do the raid. When we close out the shows on every evening. I can't think. I totally can't think. We like to send everybody on the Adobe channel over to another creative channel to give them the Adobe raid, and it's great. Usually I've seen some people just in shock, like what's happening. So it's super fun. Show the love on other creative channels, and keep the keep the creative steam rolling, and let's go hang out in this other channel. We're gonna go to B-Day 15. She's making a mandala. Oh, okay, yeah, we're going. All right, guys. Not next Tuesday, the Tuesday after. I will be here. I will catch you guys later. Thanks again for sticking around. And until then, if I can find the thing, later all.
That's so annoying. I just did a double commercial. It faked me out. I like went back to music and then went right back to a commercial.